Hi, this is Judy, second grade homework. I don't forget what week it is. This week they have a copy of the passage in the homework. Yes, it is lesson 3. And if you want to ask your child what it's about, basically it's a rabbit celebrating a birthday. She's got lots of food, has lots of friends over. They're all eating something, and then the frog says, "How about me? Do you have any mosquitoes for me?" And the rabbit says, "Mosquitoes? No, I don't have mosquitoes." And the frog says, yes, you do." And then he took a mosquito that was just flying by, and then he jumped up and ate it. And then everyone laughed, and that's kind of like the punchline of the story. And at the end, they say, "Happy birthday" to the rabbit. So have your child read it. That's in essence what the story is about. You can ask them. Now, this week also they have extra homework. So this looks like it's from the textbook. So this section, in case you want to know what it's about, it basically means just take the characters and just take the words. So these two characters make a word, and just write them over and over again across. So it's just practice writing the characters and the words. On the bottom here, you take a character and you have to put another character with it to make a word. So for example, Jing by itself doesn't mean anything. And 今年, you can write this year, or 今天, which means today. So it's just basically take this character, add another character to make a word. This section is basically just write the sentence over. In the sentence, you want to know what it means. It means on Tuesdays I have math class, Thursdays I have drawing class. And they just have to write it down here. And at the bottom, it's just fill in the blank. So there's a sentence, and you have to fill it in appropriately. So for example, it says, Monday I have, and the options are English class or this year. So the answer obviously is English class, so they just write English class in here. So that is the homework. They also have characters, which I'll go over really quickly. The first character is he. He means to drink, and you can see this radical here is a square. Whenever you see an empty square like that, that means mouth, and has to do something with mouth. So he is to drink, just like in English. He niúnǎi, drink milk. And you can say, if you want to say something tastes good when you drink it, you say 好喝. So, and then you say 不好喝. So if you want to say it tastes good when you eat it, you say 好吃, and it doesn't taste good, 不好吃. So basically you have to be careful. Does it taste good? Depends on when you ask, depends on whether you're drinking something or eating something. So you're drinking something, like, oh, 好喝. And then if you're eating something, oh, 好吃. So the next character is 肉. 肉 means meat, so it kind of looks like the striations of meat. So 肉 by itself usually means pork, and but you can put any animal in front and makes that animal meat. So 牛肉 is beef, 鸡肉 is chicken meat, 猪肉 is pig meat, 羊肉 is lamb meat. So pretty straightforward. The next character is 把. Now 把 is not straightforward. If you look at the translation, it says preposition, and you're like, what the heck does preposition mean? Well, in Chinese, there's construction where you can put an object in front of a verb, and this is a way to emphasize the object. So in the story, it says, 青蛙把一只飞来的蚊子吃了, which means the frog took the mosquito that was flying by and ate it. So 把 is almost like taking something. So this part of the character is the radical for hand. So it's almost like grabbing or handling an object and doing something with it. And so it's a way of putting the object in front of the sentence. Almost like in English you would say, I would take something and bring it over. I would take something and close it. So it's almost like this handling of something. And it's just a word that you put in front to make the object come in front of the verb. You can just as easily say the mosquito ate the frog ate the mosquito, 青蛙吃蚊子. But you don't have that emphasis of the mosquito, which in the story is really important because what the frog wanted was to eat a mosquito, and they didn't have any. So there was a lot of chit chat about mosquitoes, and so in the end, it was like he jumped and he grabbed a mosquito and ate it. a mosquito was important. So every day, what they will hear is like more ba in the usage of commands, like 把门关起来, close the door, 把水果拿过来, bring the fruit over to me. So 把书拿过来, bring the book over to me. So they will often hear it in terms of a command. So ba, I remember when I lived in Taiwan, I first used the ba construction. I was really proud of myself because it's so not that you don't think that way in English, but in Chinese, it's just a way of emphasizing the object versus the action. 把水都喝掉, like I took the water and I drank it all. Anyway, so that's ba. It doesn't mean preposition. It just means you're doing something, putting the object in front of a verb. So the next one, guò. Now, guò is a character that has lots and lots of meanings. If you look up guò in the Chinese dictionary, literally there'll be like pages of characters that go with guò to make words. It's a very, very common character that's linked up with lots of other characters to mean lots of different things. But in the context of the story, it's just guò shengzhi. And guò means, always has a sense of like a passage or over, or, so guò shengzhi is like passing your birthday. And when you pass your birthday, you're usually celebrating it. So 过生日 means celebrate your birthday. Similarly, 过年 means celebrate New Year's. So 你怎么过年? It's like how are you going to celebrate New Year's? So you don't say 过生年, you just say 过年. If you say 过年, people just know that you mean New Year's. And they will hear this about like 1,000 times a day, which is guòlái, which means come over. And you will use it all the time. Go ahead with your child. Say 过来 means come here, come here. And then let's see. The last phrase that they will use 过 in, that they hear commonly, is in English. The equivalent is 有 in the verb and 过, and it's kind of the equivalent of have you ever, or I have ever, I have done something. So it's to indicate experience, like 你有去过中国吗? So have you been to China? 我有去过中国. I have been to China. So 有 plus the verb and 过 is to say that you've experienced something. 我有去过中国. I have been to China. 我有吃过羊肉. I have tried lamb. 我有吃过I don't know. So anyways, it's just to say experience. So passage. Now, I also wrote an email recently about guessing words, and this way, in guessing characters. And this week, it really worked. I had Emmett read a passage to me and got stuck on this word, wénzi. And I said, well, okay, let's cover this up. What does that look like? And he's like, oh, it looks like 中文的文, which is something he's really familiar with. And I was like, and he's like, oh, and I'm like, this side means mosquito. He's like, when is the mosquito? Oh yeah, that means, because he knows mosquito because he's heard that before. And in the context of the story of a frog, and then this meaning an insect, and this sounding like, looking like wen, from 中文的文, and this is like a meaning radical, and this is like a sound radical. In about half a second, he's like, oh, when's the mosquito? So basically, the more you read, the more you hear, the more you understand Chinese, the easier it is to guess, because you start recognizing all the radicals, and you start recognizing more and more of these sound radicals, so you can put things together and be like, oh, based on this context, based on the words I have learned to hear and understand, I can guess the meaning of this character. So it's not phonetic like English, but after a while you start sensing patterns, and the more you read, the more you understand, the more you listen, the easier it gets to recognize characters. Now, wow, the last thing is, I noticed in the math homework they're doing clocks again. They never talked about how do you say what time it is in Chinese. So everyday math, I feel like we're going to do like clock homework until he's like in 12th grade. But anyways, clock, to say what time it is, you say 几点. Ji means how many o'clock. So 几点. Diǎn also means like a dot. So 几点 is how many o'clock. And the answer is 12:30 means 12 o'clock 30. So you can 12:20, 12:20, 12:30, 12:45, 12:45. So basically you just put a diǎn between the hour and the minutes. And then to say half, like 12:30, Chinese is almost like you say the opposite. You say 12:30 means 12:30. So it's like 12 o'clock half. 12:30. 12:30. 1:30 is 1:30. 2:30. 2:30. So anyways, that is how you say what time it is. Next time you want to know, ask your child, say 几点, and then they can go and tell you in English or Chinese, whatever you prefer. So that's it for this week. Good luck with all your homework. You see my son hasn't done any of it yet. And it's Thursday night. Let's see if I can get him to do some tomorrow. Wish me luck. Bye. Have a nice weekend. 周末快乐.